Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, and review. Tell a friend. Trying to fix this video. Excellent, got the video working. Trying to fix this ring light. Excellent, got the ring light working. We are good to go. Uh, man. So I found, maybe I'll mention this on the podcast when I talk to my guests, but I found my old headshots and I was a good looking dude. Yeah. Anyways. Very excited for today's guest. You've seen him on Stranger Things. He played Cole in the hit movie Terrifier 3. Mason McCarthy is going to be here over Zoom, and we're going to talk to him. It's going to be fun. Uh, this is a good time to take a moment, subscribe, review, and tell a friend. And enjoy Raise the Riffs with Mason McCarthy coming up next.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Riffs with your host, Keith Reza.
Hey, Mason.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I am doing great, man. I'm
Oh,
excited to chat.
yeah. Thanks so much for doing it. I'm very excited because we have the same type of hairstyle.
Yes, we do, bro. Look at this swoop. I know. I'm so sorry. This was a crazy. I look like some sort of cartoon character right now, man. This was
I
a
was
quick
gonna I was gonna
try.
say you look like Keith Reza. This is great.
Hey, I'll take. Yeah, right. I'll take it. What a compliment.
Uh, oh man. So before we start, I wanted to ask you, have you ever like gotten like a phone call on your cellular phone and you pick it up and it's like spam, you know what I mean? But it
Yeah,
happens like 10 times in a row. And then
yeah.
you think, oh, it's going to be spam again. So then you pick up very rudely and it's not spam. You're like, oh God. You
No, I
know?
can't say that's. Did that happen to you?
Kinda, but it was my mom, and I was like,
Oh.
but I thought it was spam at first. You know what I mean?
But at least it was mom and not like a boss, you know.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good.
I just think it's funny when it says spam's calling. You would never think it would be your mom or whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
what? You
Yeah,
gotta you gotta contact Apple or Samsung about that one.
I do. Yeah, I just think it's just I don't know. I've never had food call me like that. You know what I mean? Because it's
That's
spam.
funny.
Ah.
Okay, okay, okay.
Oh, okay. Bad joke. Bad joke. What you gonna do? What
I
you
want
gonna do?
more. I want more. This is amazing.
Uh, No, but like seriously, I think the difference between this show and other like interviews you've done is like when people interview you, I don't know if you know this, but I am also a celebrity. You know what I mean? So like we have the same level field. You know what I mean? Like
No,
when
this is
other people interview, they're like celebrity fans. You know what I mean? I'm just
true.
like,
You're right. You're
yeah.
right. Well, okay. Well, I'm excited to see how this plays out then. It'll be unique.
Yeah, it will be celebrity interviewing a celebrity. I don't
Okay,
know.
perfect. All right, well
No,
then I don't have to act cool. It's good.
no, no, definitely.
Oh,
But in all seriousness, one of the fascinating things I learned about you, which I was just I think that's so great, is before we'll get into Terrifier and Stranger Things later, but
yeah.
before you got your big break in those, you started writing and directing your own short films.
Yeah, that's right.
So like what made you want to do that? Because like I think that's we live in a world now where like if you make your own content, you could do whatever you want. So I think that's very smart that you did that.
Thank you, man. Well, yeah, it's been a long journey of figuring out, you know, what lane I like to be in because when I was a kid, I knew I wanted to act. Like I really just like fell in love with movies, but when I was young, it was my dad who was also really pushing on me that like I could just go make something, and like even though it didn't look like Pirates of the Caribbean or something,
Right.
or Indiana Jones, I was getting that I was learning that exhilaration that comes from shooting then editing and writing then shooting then editing. So I kind of just fell in love with that, and then I really came back around to that in high school when I was like, nobody's booking me for acting. So I was like, this sucks. And so then I have continued to collaborate with my dad just because he's super creative and loves shooting and stuff. But yeah, man, I just kind of realized at a point that like me expecting that I was gonna book every audition or like every role that came my way was just not, that was all fantasy, you know? And
Yeah,
so I had to put myself to work, even if it meant that I was writing and directing and acting in a not great short film, you know. There was always something to walk away with that was like, oh, that clicked. I never understood that, but now that clicks. And so I mean, actually even this weekend I'm not acting, I'm just directing in a short that I co-wrote, and I'm excited to see how it goes. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we have a feature script with it. So I'm trying to move into feature territory and see what the financing world looks like for that. But yeah, like I
yeah,
said, it's been a long journey. So that was my long answer. But
that's a
it
good answer.
I love filmmaking, man. When I watch movies, I'm I don't know about you, I'm just watching the actors, but then I'm also like, oh man, the lighting here is gorgeous, or I'm like, oh, this camera move is sweet, and stuff like it's some sort of ADHD. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I love, yeah, I just love movies so much. I don't
I-
know.
Is it hard for you to direct yourself when you're doing these?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think when you have a cinematographer that gets the vision like you do,
Yeah.
and you work all that stuff in pre-pro, you have somebody to kind of look at after you do a take, and you're like, did we get that? Or
Right.
and he might tell you like, you might want one more, but yeah, I think it's a weird muscle. When I first started trying to do it, I think I was too um I don't know. I didn't like my results whenever I first started to direct myself and act.
Right.
I was kind of like, God, I wish somebody was telling me to reel it in, Mason, or something like that. But um, man, over time, you kind of, if you, it's kind of nice because if you write it or you're just directing and acting, there's not that like middleman that you have to kind of like talk through. It's almost just kind of like, if anything, you just need something to keep you in the zone and remind you. But you kind of have it all in you because you're the director, so you've got you are the knowledge book that people are coming to you for. So you should, in theory, be able to handle yourself. But even then, sometimes your brain is like, oh my gosh, we're spending too much money here. And then, oh my gosh, wait, I'm forgetting this line, or I got to do this. So there's kind of a push and pull on each side of it, but it's really rewarding on
Yeah.
the other end. It really is. So I don't know the next time I'll do it, but I've got some ideas. So
Well,
well,
like I said, I'm so impressed with that because I used to teach screenwriting, and one of the things I used to tell my students is I used to say, "Hey, take your iPhone and just film it." And
yep,
I gotta tell you, I was teaching for 3 years, and this is an honest to God answer. Not one student ever did it.
really,
Yeah. So
really.
yeah, so it's just the fact that I think it's a mind because discipline has to come into it because I think
Yeah.
people are scared maybe it's going to look stupid on an iPhone or something, but I think you have to do that, you know what I mean?
Dude, I think you're so right because looking back, there's so much garbage. There's so much garbage I made. So much garbage. I'm almost close to taking it. I've left a lot of stuff on my YouTube just because I don't know. I like seeing that like progression milestone of like, oh, look at that bad short he made. And then, oh, but you can see him young, he's acting and whatnot. But at the same time, looking back, it makes me cringe maybe. But like, I realize the progression and even like almost just me just desperate to experiment and play and figure it out. So that excites me looking back in a different lens, just being like, wow, look, I knew I didn't have, you know, um, great lenses or even a great camera or even a great editing software, but I wanted to experiment and I wanted to storytell. So
Yeah.
yeah, I wish that there was, I went to community college for like a year and a half and I took a film program there. Anyway, I dropped out, but long story short, everyone in that class did not go make things outside of class. And it did make me kind of,
They
and
they
that was all
never
their
do. Yeah.
and that was all their major. And so I was just kind of starting to wonder. I was like, you, I don't think anybody's just gonna roll up with a script and like hand it to you and be like, hey, you should, here's some money too. You should do this. You know what I mean? I think like we gotta go like show off. We gotta be in front of people and like and we ourselves have to push ourselves to grow. And there's so many things that if I'm trying to do what I'm trying to do this weekend, 3 years ago, I'd probably drop dead from a panic attack because there's so many things you just pick up and you learn. But yeah, man, iPhones, honestly, it's crazy what you can get out of those things nowadays. People just got to go play and experiment and
You just gotta
shoot.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say my advice to you is if I were Mason, I wouldn't want to delete that stuff because I think it would just say because you're getting bigger and bigger in the celebrity pool. You know what I mean? I would think, hey, look at when I was nobody. Like this is treasure to me. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't cringe about it at all. I would be honored about it.
Wow. Wow. Well, that means a lot to hear, dude. Seriously, because I mean, last year was a whirlwind of, some fun stuff, but I even like I just, like yeah, I've been wanting to just make movies since I was a kid. So you're right. You're right. I'm not gonna look back and be like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
I'm gonna, you know what? People can go watch those wherever they want. They're on my YouTube. You can go have fun.
Yeah. Exactly. But no, I like I said, I just found that so fascinating because like I said, I've been doing this for a long time and I've never seen anyone actually do it. So I think like that's kind of cool because you're putting your career in your own hands.
Wow. Thank you, man. Thank
Uh,
you. Well, we'll see where it goes.
yeah.
But I love it. I will say it's completely fulfilling at the end of the day, walking away with something that is like, well, we made that product. Maybe who knows how many X amount of people are gonna see it, but you never know even years from now who X amount of people see it and what they think of it and whatnot. But the process is so much fun and really fulfilling. So yeah.
The best example I could give is Saw because Saw
Oh,
did a short 8 minute and they did it nobody. And these guys thought they were like the laughing stock of whole Hollywood, right? And
mhm.
then they got made for a feature and now it's like the number one horror thing in the world.
Dude, Saw is one of the most legendary. That first movie is one of the most legendary indie film things I think I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
And I go back to that a lot, man. I'm a huge Lee Winnell, James Wan fan. I mean,
Oh,
I,
they're the best. Yeah.
that movie's iconic. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And what it accomplished afterwards, just unreal, insane. But
You watch it and you think, oh my God, they spent literally their entire budget on Danny Glover.
Dude, you're so right. I remember the movie's $1 million, right? Like it's
Yeah.
cheap. But I remember watching it back a few years ago and for some reason somehow forgetting that Danny Glover's in that movie. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is like an indie movie. Like, how did they do that? How did they get Danny Glover? That's Danny Glover, man.
Uh,
Oh my gosh. No, that's hilarious.
uh, but I wanted to ask you one more question about editing because I
Yeah.
know nothing about editing. How did you teach yourself editing or was it just learn as it go type of thing?
I think, yeah, a lot of mix of things because my dad was really, really versed in Final Cut Pro.
Okay.
So I got on there and I think at the time, man, it was late 2000s, so Final Cut Pro looked really scary. Like all the editing platforms nowadays look, except for like uh oh no, oh man, there's so many. Never mind. Premiere still looks a little creepy, but DaVinci's pretty pleasing to look at. So is Final Cut nowadays, but back then it just looked like lifeless, scary, like I don't know what to do with this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
but my dad pushed me to just go figure it out, and I'm super thankful for that because most of these editing platforms are pretty universal as I've come to learn. And so a lot of those things I picked up and learned back then haven't gone away from me. But yeah, he had a lot to show me and share. But then at the same time, yeah, the more projects that you do and the more stuff you watch on YouTube, you're just kind of like, how do they do that? And then you're like, oh, maybe I could try that and stuff. And I wish I went more VFX. I wish my head went more into like the VFX world. That would have been cool to, be this old now and understand
Right.
like a lot of the VFX work that you can do with like After Effects and all that. But yeah, no, it was just, a lot of trial and error of figuring out these editing platforms. But once you kind of crack it, you're like, oh, okay, this ain't too bad.
All right.
And yeah, you find a flow. But I love DaVinci Resolve. I'm a big DaVinci Resolve head. So
Yeah.
I,
I mean, I've never like edited anything, so I don't know if I have any desire to, but it's good for
uh,
the listeners who want to become editors because that's a very important job, you know what I mean?
for sure, for sure. Editing music videos really whips you into shape too, just because there's a pace to that. Like if you're doing any sort of narrative storytelling in music videos, you can only hang around on something for so long before it's like you got to get back to the artist, and then
Right.
you got to know what to show the artist. Anyways, there's so many ways to really learn and understand editing programs like that. But I really just think having some footage that you like and care about, and then just going for it and just making something so you can have something to share. Put some music under it. It's such a fun little fulfilling process. But yeah.
No, for sure. I always tell people Saw 6 could have been good if it was fully edited good.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. So you're a
You know?
Saw fan, right? Are you yourself a horror fan at all, or
Oh, I love horror film. Like
dude?
that's what I write. I write romantic comedies and horrors, and
Dude, let's go.
but
Let's go. I think what's so awesome about, because I'm a big horror fan myself, but what's so awesome about Saw is there's the great stuff, and then there's just the okay, yeah, we actually like to acknowledge that because it's funny, and it's that's Saw 6. That's dude, I love it. I love it so much. Saw is awesome.
I think I have a problem with 6 because they killed my favorite character at the end of 5, and they just wanted to torture me at the beginning of 6 and replay that. I was like, "Fuck you guys," you know what
Okay,
I
wait,
mean?
wait. I'm trying to remember.
It
Are
was
we talking
it
the
was
wall?
Strom, yeah,
Yep, the wall's closing in, dude.
yeah,
That one is painful.
yeah.
I don't know what it is about walls closing in, getting crushed like that. Ugh, I don't know, man. That
No.
one gets me. I forgot that the next one just replays that at the start, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's rude. That's
That's
rude. Wait,
that's why I was like, screw Saw 6.
jeez. Wait. I will ask, was Saw 6, which one's the shotgun carousel?
That's 6, yeah.
6?
Yeah. The
Funny.
trap, yeah, the traps were cool, but yeah.
Yeah. I kind of dig Saw 6 now that I'm remember. I have to go you know what? I'm gonna go rewatch these and I'll hit you back because
Let's
it's been years, but that's so funny.
But speaking of cruel death scenes, we should probably jump into because it's been a while, so I think everyone's ever already seen it now. But
Yeah.
Terrifier 3, you
Yeah.
have a cruel death scene, and I remember when I was watching the movie with my lady friend, like I was so jealous because I wanted to be you because you were hooking up with Alexa, right? And then I was like telling my lady friend, I was like, "Hey, that could be me." Ha ha ha. And then what happens to you? I was like, "I don't think I want to be Mason."
Yeah, never mind. No, that is so funny. That is hilarious.
So like how they like walk me into that like how because that you were kind of tortured. They broke your leg, then they did terrible stuff to you. Like
Really bad stuff to me. They Man, that signing on, you knew what you were getting into. Early on, Damien sent me, who's he is so kind and awesome. And not that the list is extensive or huge, but he's definitely like number one on favorite directors I've ever worked with. I mean, like he's
uh,
just time I got to share with that guy. He's so awesome. And so that guy immediately up front was just like, "Oh, I just want you to know what you're getting into." And he sent me like a one-page PDF of just the shower scene. And then he kind of left me with like, I had auditioned several times. So he's like, "The role's yours if you want to He's like, just let me know how you feel about this. So I had read it. I knew it was coming. And I gotta be honest, like I knew if it was done right, it was gonna be epic. Like considering what the fan base of these movies really are attracted to,
Right.
majority of that is how insane is it? How insane can you kill somebody, in a way? And the practical effects, like how real can the practical effects look, and how ridiculous can the clown make it, So I definitely knew walking in that it could be epic. So I think I was nervous that I didn't want to underperform that because that was it could be, Damien was excited about it, everyone's excited about it. But thankfully, and I mean Alexa is just a gem of a human being. I feel like we had this like we were the two new guys on set, it felt like, and so
Yeah.
we had this buddy system all the way that I felt like um I was never nervous because, I would look over and she wasn't nervous, and I hope, the other way around, I didn't look too nervous or anything, but we were both walking into these scenes really confident and like breaking them down and talking about them, and so I feel like a lot of my security was like, yeah, we're doing this together. We got this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, if it was just me alone dying, which it gets there, but like if it was just that, I'd be really freaked out about. I mean, there's a those those things are extensive and crazy, and so I just and those kills and Terrifier. So I just wish, I'm glad people like that that it went well, and it's
Yeah.
crazy. Seriously, thanks to Alexa, we got through that together, and it was a big, we felt really, accomplished after that. It felt crazy.
Well, I mean, no, it's also kind of like because you're both good-looking people, you know what I mean, you and Alexa, and like so like the whole like intimacy stuff like that had to be planned out and stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had an amazing intimacy coordinator named Maria who was pretty much there all the time because like I'd never filmed like a simulated sex scene, and
Yeah.
especially one in the shower where it's like, well, of course they'd be like naked, right? And so I think both of us were just happy that Maria was there to walk us through how that works on like a film set because
Yeah.
there was so many new things to that, but I mean, once we knew what was happening and like we're wearing all this funny special like underwear covering protection, it didn't make it like comfortable, but at the same time, because you got all these people watching you and all the lights and the set and all that. But I mean, it with Maria there, it made things so much easier to know how we were comfortable, what we, how we can help each other out, just get comfortable in the scenario that we got to be in. So it was, yeah, it was really not a painful process at all. And like I said, Alexa's just awesome. And so we got to know each other quite well after filming mostly all of our dialogue scenes prior to this. So
Yeah.
we knew each other quite well. And so it wasn't like meeting a stranger immediately and having to do anything crazy. So that was nice that timed out like that.
So when I saw Terrifier 3, my lady friend, because I'm watching, she looks at me and she's like, "Don't you dare ask Alexa to do your podcast." Like, and
Oh,
she gave me like that whole like, "Don't you dare," right? So, I asked her and she said yes, and I interviewed her, and she was so mad at me, right? And then when I told her I'm interviewing you, all is forgiven.
oh,
Because she like loved you. It was so weird, you
oh.
know. She was,
That's great.
yeah.
Love that. I love that I leveled the playing field.
But
How was it chatting with Alexa? I gotta
oh,
go.
oh, Alexa's great. Just I think I was doing too much flirting. You know what I mean? And
She's
and,
awesome.
and then my lady friend's gonna listen to this. She's like, "Why are you doing too much flirting with Mason too?" I'm like, "Hey, hey, hey."
Oh man, that is hilarious.
Oh,
So- Sorry, lady friend.
yeah, but one thing I did actually wanted to say about your character, which I thought was really cool, because like a lot of like guys who die in horror films who are hanging out with a hot chick or whatever, they're usually not really nice.
Hmm.
And your character had some elements where, hey, okay, maybe he's not that nice, but I felt you were actually very loving towards Elliot, where like you're like, hey, this guy is actually my friend in a way. You know what I mean? Where like, does that does it? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like,
Absolutely. I think massive props to Damien because I just think like thinking back on that, it really just was popping off the script like that because I don't remember anything. Uh, of course, I know I remember Damien and I speaking about like intentionality between dialogue and moments and scenes, but it kind of flourished itself into that space because I even remember my initial audition. I kind of, yeah, I much more leaned. I'm
yeah,
your college douchebag guy, frat guy, and then somehow after all the different reads and meetings that we had, it kind of you know got where it got, and I'm really proud of that because I don't know why I'm glad to hear it stands out and that makes me really happy, but I'm also like, wait, where did that stem from? And part of me is also like, I also just really loved hanging out with Elliot. So I think it just made it easy to just be like, oh, that's my friend. That's my bud, and like, and it was just fun to like, I remember in the dorm room sequence, like when we first meet Cole and Mia, it's like, there's some like razzing on them a little bit, but at the end of it, it's very, you peel off some layers and you're like, oh, Cole actually has like a genuine older brother love for this kid. You know what I mean? And so,
yeah,
but it's also kind of tragic because it's like Jonathan doesn't look like he receives it properly in a way. And then whenever Cole seems to try to really share, uh, Jonathan's gone at that point. So there's kind of this tragic, like, oh, Jonathan needed that bro love, I think,
yeah,
but it was there, but it was just crossing at each other at the wrong times. And so I think it adds a little bit of tragedy where it's just like Jonathan is so close to getting the help that he needs, but he
yeah.
also doesn't get it. And I think that's what's so cool. And like I said, that's all just, it goes back to Damien just wrote a really really cool script and that stuff just kind of pops out, and so yeah, I'm really proud of that. I really wish there were more Cole and Jonathan scenes, I just like I like the
Deleted scenes, Terrifier 4, flashbacks.
that's what I'm saying, we know the script's coming. I gotta call Damien and be like, dude, I got nothing going on later this year. What you doing?
You just gotta say, give me one flashback. This could be like Saw. You know what I mean? Like
Guys, dude, it could be like we start off the next movie in the shower scene again. Oh my gosh, we'll pull Saw 6.
I'll kiss Alexa again. I have no problem doing that. We don't, stuff like that. But
Oh,
but I gotta tell you, I went to I don't know if it was a Comic Con or Creep Con or whatever, but this is in like September because I'm friends with Christy Swanson, and she's like one of the celebrities like signing autographs and stuff. And Elliot was there, and he had like the biggest line. It was crazy. Like,
thank God for them. They put in a good word for me with their convention rep, and so I'm good friends with him, and he reps me now, and so I'm super new to the convention world. And I used
yeah.
to just like go, I would just buy a day pass and go hang out and go look at the vendors and all that. And so I've done two now, and I haven't the next one I have coming up, actually the entire Terrifier 3 cast is there, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, nice.
Um, yeah, I'm super new to it, man, but I love chatting with other movie and horror movie fans and like you're just kind of hanging out in the same room with like really cool people that you like. And but yeah, dude, I hear people really love to go meet David, Damien, Lauren, Elliot, and of course, because they are like the coolest people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. I mean, they are amazing. So I'm excited to go see it for myself because I just can't imagine like how the lines are gonna go back to the end of the room, man. And I'm so proud of them because they deserve their flowers for how just amazing their work is. And so dude, yeah, that's so cool.
Dude, because I did a horror film. I don't know when it's coming out. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get cut, but I die in it, right? And I hope I stay in it so I could do these conventions too, because I don't need to do stand-up comedy if I could just do these conventions. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
could just sign pictures and be like, yeah, I died. You know?
Oh my God. That dude, I will say it's pretty nuts, man. I mean, like, um, I I really on my first convention was like, who wants to come meet me? I was like, who would want that, man? I was like, I'm just popped up in this movie, thank God to Damien, I get a really epic scene and all this stuff, but I was just like, who wants to? I was like, this is David, Lauren, and Elliot and Damien's show, man. I was like, I'm just here visiting, and so I was worried about it, but people just there's such a passion for these movies and this genre, and uh there's memorabilia and posters and all these things that people are so proud of these movies, and they want to have that connection from the cast to their posters and their art. And I think it's so beautiful because I myself am a fan, like I said, and I love just getting to chat with people. And so like
Yeah.
it's been such a lovely experience, man, and people are just awesome, and I adore this franchise and the people that adore this franchise as well. And so yeah, it's been neat. But dude, you gotta when that movie comes out, you gotta get in that. It's
Yeah.
really fun, man.
I want a booth right by you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
So I could be like, we could screw with people's minds. You know what I mean? Like, you
Absolutely.
you could say, hey, I was in House of Karma, and then we could be like, hey, I was in Terrifier 3, and then we could
Oh,
switcheroo. You know what I mean? Because we got the same hair.
I like that, dude. They won't even notice. That's crazy. You're
Yeah.
so right. Oh
I'm
my
ho-
gosh. No, those things are so fun though. I just met Tobin Bell at the last one. And dude,
oh,
yeah, speaking of Saw, I think this is my problem is I'm a big fanboy. So I'm scared to act like, yeah, I can't act cool at these things. So like, even when anybody comes say hi with me, I'm like, yeah. I don't know, man. I can't act cool. It's just such a joyful experience. But meeting Tobin was so lovely and iconic, and like that guy is an actor, like
yeah.
he's New York, and he is cool, and I had to hold it together so hard because I could have lost my cool so hardcore. But that guy's been around since my childhood when I discovered Saw when I was a kid, and oh man, I met Shawnee once as well, and I love Shawnee Smith so much.
Oh, I have a huge crush on her.
Me too, man. I was
Uh,
giggly when I met her, and I was like, I don't even think she knows who I am, but I was like, hi. That
well,
was
You
silly.
you want advice on how, because so like I have Asperger's syndrome, so like I'm very bad at talking to normal people, but I'm actually really good at talking to celebrities because I am a celebrity. You know what I mean? So now that you are a celebrity, you shouldn't feel you'd be like, hey, we're on the same field.
I
You know what I
guess
mean?
you're right, man. I think it's still just it like messes with my head just because it's like
Well, you can't let it get to your
I,
head. You just gotta
no,
keep
you're
it
right.
even. Like,
You're right. I'm
hey,
gonna keep it even. You gotta
yeah.
keep it even. I just know the second I meet the Scream cast, I met Jamie Kennedy.
Oh, he's one of my best friends.
No way. Are you
Oh my
serious?
God. Yeah. I love
What?
Jamie. Yeah.
Dude, he was at the last convention I went to, and Scream is one of my all-time favorite like films ever, the 1996 one, and I really had to play it cool meeting Jamie, and he was so sweet and kind. And that guy's had such a cool career as well. And so I'm just a fan of him as an actor and an artist. But yeah, with the Screamcast, I'm really gonna have to play it cool, dude, because they rock. I think
Just,
Scream.
just
There.
whatever you do, don't scream when you meet him.
That's what I did to Jamie. He was like, "Whoa."
I'll tell you a cool story about Jamie Kennedy. Like this guy, he's like an actual stand-up guy because he used to host this Amazon show for stand-up. And I tried to submit and I guess I wasn't good or famous enough or whatever, and Jamie Kennedy got me in. I eventually got cut from the show, but he got me in on it. So
Wow.
like, you know what I mean? Like that's I love Jamie Kennedy. I'd take a bullet for him. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, what a cool thing, man. What a sweet guy. And I love hearing what he's got to say. I love that he's been sharing a lot more on like YouTube
Yeah.
uh about his career experience and all that. He's been through some iconic stuff, man. And oh, that's cool to hear, dude.
Yeah. So and next time he does stand up, and if I'll call you, I'll be like, hey, let's go see Jamie Kennedy.
Dude, I'm there. I'm
Yeah.
there. I would love
You're
to see.
you're in Los Angeles, right?
Oh, I'm in Nashville,
You're
actually.
oh well, if he's in Nashville, I got it,
Hey, well, are you
right?
in Los Angeles? Where are you based?
I'm in Los Angeles, yeah, but I could always travel to Nashville. I
You
could,
let me know. Yeah,
yeah,
but also I pop into LA quite often, so who knows when that time aligns. We'll
yeah,
make it work.
we'll make it work. And then I wanted to move on to Stranger Things. I wanted to respect your time though. Do we have about 5, 10
Oh,
more minutes? Okay.
dude, absolutely no rush at all.
Okay, cool. Because I know some interviews are like, ah, God, another
No, no,
question.
no. I love this, dude. Gotten with you. It's been great, man. Let's keep
Uh,
it.
It's
Yeah.
because celebrity talk. Anyways,
Yeah.
uh, I wanted to ask you about Stranger Things because I feel Stranger Things is one of those shows where it's just too perfect. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I wanted to ask, like, even though you were on Stranger Things, do you get that same vibe too? Like, it's just too good.
Dude, yes, um I'm in the same boat as you because I've been a huge fan since it came out in 2016 and
Yeah,
uh I still stand by. I think that first season is perfect. It's lightning in a bottle. Like I love Stranger Things so much. Like, the bar is all the way up here, but like even when some seasons I don't feel like have measured up to how good season one is, it still has never missed, in my
yeah.
opinion. It is great. And I mean, I've got a couple buddies who play the mean basketball players that came in on season four.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and yeah, they're just some of my best friends ever. But anyways, I constantly bug them because they got to be in way more episodes than me. I was just in one, but I constantly bug them. I'm like, can you believe you're in Stranger Things? I'm like, and I'll send them the trailer for season four, which clearly they've seen. And I'll be like, can you believe you're in this? Because I just think Stranger Things seriously is one of the most iconic um TV shows ever made. I just think it has earned its place like that. And
Yeah.
yeah, I stand by that. First season is unbelievable. I'm due for a rewatch like every other week. I want to
Uh,
rewatch it time.
S- So I feel that the reason why Stranger Things is so perfect, and like I feel maybe you'll get this because you're in the business like me, and all my friends think I'm crazy, but I feel Matthew Modine is the secret sauce to it because this is like a actor who was huge in the 70s and 80s, and he's kind of disappeared ever since,
Yeah, yeah.
and now he's in Stranger Things.
Yep. I will also add to that. I think Winona Ryder is
Yeah,
also, dude. I can't lie. Like when I watched it when I was younger, I totally came for the kids and the adventure with the kids and the supernatural. But as I've gotten older, I can't believe how good Winona Ryder and Matthew Modine are. And even David Harbour
Harbor's
are
the best. Oh
all
my
the way
God.
through that show. And they're some of my favorite scenes to watch. I think Winona is just like a legendary actress, and so I'm a huge fan of Winona Ryder. So I'm just like, I can't believe these two guys called the Duffer Brothers were making this new show, and they got Winona Ryder to be in Stranger Things. I'm like, dude, this is so cool that she did this. I mean, I,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I feel the same way. Her and Matthew Modine are like way too perfect for this show. And I love that they get their screen time and they get meaty, juicy material. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, they pop in and out. It's like, no, they're a backbone on
Yeah.
a lot of levels. I mean, that whole first season is a mom trying to find her son who went missing. I'm like, what a sick. This is Twin Peaks, but like from the mom's perspective, and then the kids sometimes. It's like, dude, Winona owns that stuff, man. I think she's so cool. I want
You
to
know,
meet her.
You know the kid who plays Dustin? I don't know his name
Yeah.
off the top of my head, but he's the number one requested podcast guest in the past like 7 years, like in a row.
Did you
And,
say?
and like everyone just wants to interview that guy. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I mean, for one, such an amazing actor, and then for two, uh he seems like the nicest guy ever.
yeah.
So, I would of course love to chat with him as well. I mean, like, yeah, so good, yeah, good for that guy. I mean, I that's unbelievable. What a cool thing to say that.
But after this, you're going to be the number one because everyone's going to be like, I want Mason. He did Razor Riffs.
Oh, yeah, we'll see if I can block out some time on my schedule. Oh, it's so busy over here. No, that's sweet. I will say this has been fun because no one was ever really, of course, I mean, there's nothing to interview me about, but like getting to do podcasts or even just questionnaires about stuff, it's like it's been fun to chat all this stuff because then I meet a fellow Stranger Things fan or Terrifier fan or just horror movie fan in general, like us talking about Saw. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that gets my mind racing every day because I love that stuff so much, and it's been a
Yeah.
blast.
Did you ever see like I don't know how old you are, but did you ever see the Dawn of the Dead, the remake?
Dude. Is it the Zack Snyder one? He did
Yeah.
that, right? Dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you like that one?
I saw that on TV when I was a kid, so I must have saw like the edited version for TV. But dude, I remember in my big zombie phase when I was a kid, the armored mall trucks that they're in the end. Do you remember that when they're trying to
Yeah.
escape and they've got
It's my
like,
favorite movie, so
dude, they've got like that snow plow in the front and all the windows are like geared up and all that. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And when I was in my zombie phase, I was like, I can't wait for the zombie apocalypse. Like it needs to happen now. For some reason I thought I would live. But that movie I thought had so much awesome zombie iconography. I don't know how to say that other than it was like The Walking Dead and then Dawn of the Dead remake were like the best zombie material I'd ever seen when I was a kid. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I ate it up, man. I thought that movie's also really funny too. Like Zack Snyder's got a very strange,
It is
cool.
very funny. People don't, yeah.
uh,
Because I got a story that it kind of like reminds me of you in a way, like of your spirit and stuff. And I think I'm just going to tell you this story, and then you'll see the compliment. Right now, you don't
cool,
see the
yeah,
compliment, but
sure.
in the Dawn of the Dead, one of the actors is a guy named Jake Weber, and he's one of my favorite actors. He plays Michael. He was like the hero, the guy who got bitten
Huh?
at the end, and he like
Yep,
said
yep.
goodbye to everyone. So I interviewed him about that and just the whole spirit and stuff. He said like he had no idea it was going to be so great because that movie honestly would have made him a movie star. And he said he told me he's like Keith, I don't want to be a movie star. I just want to be Jake Weber. And that spirit is what I get from you, where it's like, hey, you just want to be Mason McCarthy. You know what I mean?
Dude, thank you, man. I no, seriously, Jake Weber is an iconic actor. That guy's been around in so many things, man.
Yeah,
I no, but I really appreciate that, dude. I hope that you know, someday far along, I'm like Mason McCarty. He didn't forget that he just loved movies at the end of the day. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just like that's all it is. Truly at the end of it, it's just like I really just love movies, and what an honor to um, be a part of them if I can and if I can handle it. But I think that is so sweet to hear, man. So thank you for sharing that with me.
of course. And I just have two more questions for you.
Yeah.
Question number one, you might not actually be able to talk about this yet, but
Mhm.
if you can't, just say you can, and then we'll have you back on. But bad haircut is
Well,
something coming out. Can you talk about that yet or not?
yeah. That was such a cool experience because I don't have a big role in that movie, but I this is what's really fascinating is when you make your own stuff, you're putting yourself out there and you never know where it's going. But Kyle Misak, uh, he's this writer director, young guy. him and he found me through something, but then he also went and watched a lot of my own work that I'd made, and we had kind of started this relationship where like we really just kind of admired this kind of self pursuit of like breaking into the industry because he was doing the same thing. But amazing thing about Kyle is he's been making features for years, but Bad Haircut is definitely like his big opening to the world, in my opinion. And so I'm honored to be in it. I've got a couple scenes that are really fun. And it's a good vibe, man. It's a good throwback to like that like fun 2000s horror. Like it doesn't take
Yeah.
itself too seriously. It's very funny, but it still is a thrill ride. And so I'm very honored to be a part of it. I hope it comes out soon. I know they're doing it's finished and they're doing a lot of post-production meetings and talks to see where
Uh,
it'll, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, man, those guys are legends, and I have no doubt they're gonna make some incredible stuff after people see Bad Haircut. It's gonna be
well,
amazing.
it's going to be good if it has Mindy Sterling and Larry Hankin and Mason in it. So like that, these are all my buddies. So like I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. I
Dude,
can't wait.
he put together quite the cast, man. There's some amazing people in this. So yeah, it's gonna
Uh,
live up to the hype. I know it, dude.
uh, all right, Mason. My last question for you, because I do want to respect your time. But if you, this is not a question that has anything to do with your acting career or anything. This is like a spirit question, I guess.
Wait.
If you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of yourself, it could be from yesterday, or it could be when you were 8, whatever. What advice would you tell yourself? What you know now?
Dude, that is such a good question. Oh my gosh, let me think. That is, oh man, funny enough, I was looking through my I'll share this because it's not even necessarily related to film, but it actually was it happened to me yesterday. I was walking around the house and then I was talking to my mom at some point and I was like, "Hey mom, do you remember that one person from elementary school?" And I was like, and she didn't really remember her, but I remembered her just out of nowhere all of a sudden. And I just felt like the people I was around kind of were mean, to her and other kids that it just kind of made me confused of like, what were kids ever mean to anybody about,
Yeah,
unless somebody was like a jerk. It was just kind of like, it hurt my feelings now looking back at just like a kid being made fun of for nothing, for no reason. I just in my memory it was just like in gym class somebody was like hitting the ball funny, which is funny. But I remembered that and then I pulled out my old yearbook and I was looking at my old elementary school yearbook and I just was seeing all these faces of people that I just was like, man, it just breaks my heart that like kids should know that they should have all the grace in the world because they're figuring things out for the first time, So if I were to go back and talk to my younger self, I would want to build his confidence in that, hey, it's the first time you're doing this. You're
yeah,
figuring it. You know what I mean? But also be kind to other people because they might not know that advice either. And you also never know what people are going through at home. And so a little bit of kindness goes a long, long way. So I think it wasn't that I don't think I was mean to anybody when I was a kid. I don't know. I was really nervous and shy around people, but I think the idea of a kid being made fun of for just being a kid, by other kids back then, it made my heart sad that I was just kind of like, man, I wish I could just go give everybody a hug, because it's
yeah.
just not fair that just you're trying to be yourself, you're trying to figure everything out, and some kids might laugh at you and stuff, and it's just like, oh man. I would just go back and tell my younger self, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, because it's a journey of figuring things out, and it's a lot more joyful when you're a lot more kind to people. So,
Yeah.
joy like that, There's my
I
long.
that's a great answer. I was the kid who always got made fun of and stuff, and I got my revenge on my high school bully, which come to think about it, maybe it wasn't the nicest thing to do because I kind of sank down to his level, but
Uh,
it made me feel better because like
yeah,
this guy would torture me. You know what I mean? I was very nonverbal in high school, and about 8 or 9 years ago when I was really, really famous because I used to tour with Norm Macdonald, so that's how I got all my fame from. Uh,
Dude,
yeah, that
incredible.
yeah, he was my best friend, and that's a different podcast. But this guy, Josh Tucker, who picked on me, he went to the show with his girlfriend. She's like super hot, we're talking Alexa Blair times 10, you know what I mean? And I kill it, and I guess this guy Josh is like telling this girl that he's my friend or whatever, you know what I mean? Because I went to high school with him. So then after the show, he's like acting like we're friends and stuff. And they wanted an autograph, which is so weird because this never happens to me. You know what I mean? Like when I do stand up, maybe I get the pictures, but autographs, I think I've only signed maybe 10 my entire life. So I signed it, and I signed it. I said, "Hey, your boyfriend's a dick," and that's what I did. And,
Whoa,
and it was the best revenge ever because in that
dude.
moment, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
now that I'm thinking about it now, maybe it wasn't so
Hey,
nice. You know
you
what I mean?
know, that's different though. Me is like, it makes me sad to see tiny humans get another mad at a little tiny. We're all so fresh to the world at that point. It's like,
Yeah,
who are we acting like we know what's better or whatever? But in this case, that guy sounds like a dude. Yeah, no, he had that coming. Did you ever
yeah.
see that? You signed that?
I no, he didn't like I just signed it and then she was all happy and stuff. But like imagine on the ride home, you know,
Yes.
like that. So that's where I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But
No, that's pretty epic because it got in her head and she's like, wait, why is he and then now she's talking to him about it. And who knows where that snowballed, you know? But
yeah,
dude, that's
for all I know, I got them married because chicks like dicks. I don't know.
You're right. You know what? Maybe. They seem to win in the end all the time. I don't know. It's just
Uh,
maybe.
well, Mason, where can the folks at home follow and support you? Instagram, Twitter, stuff like that?
Instagram, Mason McCarty, just my name. It's spelled me, and then you drive a car, and then you drink tea, McCarty. And then my YouTube is also Mason McCarty. And then my production company is The Day Productions. And you can find that on Instagram as well. I update a lot of personal project work on there, and we got a lot of big things coming up, so I haven't posted. It's been a lot of pre-production on some stuff. So we'll see where that goes soon. But yeah, you can find me about anywhere like that. So
Well, Mason, thanks so much for talking to me, man. I know you're busy and stuff, and hopefully one day our paths will cross outside of Zoom. Like maybe we could be in a movie together or something. That'd be
bro,
cool.
let's make this happen, man.
Yeah,
I look, we just gotta keep self-producing until people are sick of seeing us and they're like, all right. We'll
yeah.
put you in blood. What do you want? And so I think that's what I've resulted to is like I'm just gonna make it almost, if I can help it, impossible for people to not look at me doing something, and then hopefully that'll open some doors. But in the meantime, you and I gotta talk and find something we want to make, dude, because that's what we gotta do. That's what we
Yeah. Well, thanks again, man. This meant a lot to me. It was an honor to interview you, and I hope you had fun being interviewed by a
Dude,
celebrity.
absolutely, man. This has been a treat. Seriously, Keith, you rock, man, and hit me up anytime. Let's make something happen again soon.
Oh, cool. If you stay on, I'll give you my number. And
Dude, yes.
all right.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, that was the episode. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Follow Mason McCarthy, Mecartea. Right? All
That's
right, it
right.
took me. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week on Razor Rips.